So, like I said, we've got over 100 entrants into this, and we are underway. So we got a Piece of Heart, and we got Hammer in Sanctuary.
That is a much better start than a Piece of Heart.
As I am akin to say, good luck to all of our runners, and may the random number gods be in your favor. We had a map check from Brewers fan. I saw 2 pendants, a Desert and Hera, and a 5/6 crystal at Eastern.
And we see runners already taking a little bit of a different route. Brewers fan immediately going to the right. Looks like he's going to be doing some Houlihan action. El, meanwhile, is heading up north. Maybe he's going to check Lumberjack, and Solsky and Sailor Jade are definitely going directly to Uncle, see if he's got a sword for them.
Uncle giving us a Bombos medallion, and we got triple bombs in the other chest in Uncle's tunnel.
Ah, the sweet, sweet sound of rupees.
Meanwhile, we have rupees on the Lumberjack ledge, 50 to be exact.
Yep, so the item isn't going to force an Aghanim, but that doesn't mean he's dead just yet. Twitch chat, keep your prayers alive.
Okay, and I was actually wrong. It's a 5/6 crystal at Desert as well. Brewers fan had it up so fast that I saw the red and thought it was a pendant. My apologies.
It happens when you're looking at 4 screens concurrently, but we're going to do the absolute best we can for you guys.
Speaking of lamps, there's the lamp in Lost Woods. As the fear agent was pointing out in chat, we may still need lamps for fire, but most of the time, you usually just get lamps. The lamp you really just need it for dark rooms. We got a sword upgrade, it looked like, in the library.
Lamp is also going to allow them to do the basement in Hera in case the big key is locked down there, or a second troll item is down there as well.
And we're about to get some convergence on Kakariko. We got a bottle of blue potion in the tavern.
Really the best place to get the bottles, since you can go directly up to the sick kid.
And Brian, we have found your cane. If you would like to come pick it up from the sick kid, please pick it up. We also got a cape in the blind hut. And more bombs.
So as we're looking now at the items that have been distributed this early in the seed, right now we've got Hammer, we've got Lamp. Do you think an early Eastern Palace play would be best at this point, or do you think you wait until after Escape to start really putting yourself into a route?
Well, we still have the well to see what we've got here in here, so we'll see that, and then I'll answer your question.
Yeah, and I thought I saw that sword down in Blind's hideout, and it definitely was a sword before the cape. So sword, lamp, magic cape.
That usually means a certain magical wizard up in up the Hyrule Castle Tower. Okay, I would at least. Man, this early in the seed giving you Aga access. I would still go to at least the Hospitalist Closet. I probably might still do Eastern.
Oh, I would do all of Escape and the Hospitalist Closet before I thought about really giving, Aga a go. Also, all of South Shore is still available.
This is true. So there's still a lot we could do. I mean, I would definitely still do South Shore first. And if this is still the loadout we have at that point, I would still be going for Eastern before you do not want to do Aga until you have to.
No, wasted Aga is, what, 5 minutes down the drain?
Pretty much.
Bottle Vendor giving us a terrible return on our investment. Alright,
we'll get a second look at Elminster. Someone in chat said it was 10 arrows on the library ledge, and they were in fact correct. My mistake. Fear Agent in chat saying still probably need Moon Pearl too. The thing is that you do not need to have the Moon Pearl for Aga 1. It's just if you want to go anywhere beyond the Pyramid Ledge, the Moon Pearl either has to be there or the way to get to the Moon Pearl.
Yeah, as of right now, I mean, the items that you would be missing would be, I mean, a glove and a Moon Pearl at this point would give you Dark World access and early Dark World access as well.
Alright, so Bruce Fane is going to start making his way to South Shores. We're going back over stuff. Interesting to see, you know, we got normal Link from Elminster. We have some new sprites in version 30 with Solsky having an eggplant, Sailor Jade using Sailor Moon, and I think that's is that a pig that Brewer's Fan is using?
No, that's Dragonite.
Ah, now I see it.
With the wonderful Dratini Dark World sprite. In case you haven't used it, it is one of the new version 30 editions, and it's not only stupid cute, but it's also really well made.
Yeah, see, that's the problem with having 4 runners to watch. Like, I see this orange thing, and I can't really properly see that it's Dragonite, but as soon as you say it, it's like, oh yeah, that's Dragonite. I can get it now.
20 rupees left in the dam. Mini Moldorm Cave is really going to be where a lot of possibility for progressions held. So I'm really excited to see what is here in the Mini Moldorm Cave.
And with having a sword and a hammer, trying to take out those mini Trolldorms shouldn't be too difficult. Should be being the operative word as Bruce Fan falls down the hole.
It's only as difficult as you make it, but I'm sure that he'll right himself just fine.
He's got to be careful. He's only down to 1 heart. And then gets a clutch heart drop there from one of the mini Trolldorms.
Alright, so we got lots of bombs being held there. The Master Sword, another piece that could lead you towards Aghanim, and a piece of heart. So a lot of the chests available left now have just been taken up, and it's looking a little scary at this point.
We're not seeing too much thus far in terms of escape sequence. I think I've seen like 2 pieces of heart.
Elminster is sitting at 4, so there might be a little bit more available for them in Escape proper. Elminster taking a death here on purpose. He's going to warp back up to the top of the castle and go ahead and towards the back of Escape, see what all those chests hold. It'd be interesting to see as well if anybody's going to break logic, fake flipper, and check to see if Hobo has something, or make their way up to Zora.
Alright, Solsky continuing his way through the Dark Maze.
Solsky is going to give us our first look at here at the back of Escape. So let's see what these 3 awesome chests hold. I haven't seen the map just yet, but we do have a swagnet, a shovel, and a key. Do you like fetch quests?
I can't sing to save my life. I leave that to Vitasia. Apparently, we found Elminster found the Moon Pearl.
That must have been somewhere in Escape, so I'll keep my eye on Solsky to see exactly where he finds it.
Probably, if I had to guess, the one that I missed was the... Hey, was it the boss chest? No, he took the Death Warp, so it's... I think it was in the Dark Room chest.
That would make sense.
Yep, Pimeco's confirming it. It wasn't the sewer chest. So realistically, in terms of not avoiding Aga 1, I mean, we've got the three potential items in Eastern Palace, and if we don't find anything else, it's time to climb that tower.
We still have Agina and we still have Zora, which is a play that they might make. And with the way that some seeds are laid out, it might just be that you have to go out of your way to avoid doing Aghanim, and it might be worth it for them. So I'd be tempted to, I'd be waiting to see if any of the runners really do that before deciding to go right up Castle Tower. Now,
the one thing to keep in mind with Zora, though, is that until we find either a glove or the flippers, Zora is technically out of logic at this point.
Very true, though he could be holding an item that would keep us away from Aghanim, which, I mean, honestly, that's a chance I might take.
I gotta be honest, I have had one seed in the past where I was able to sequence break out of Aga access. And we got a bottle of green potion to start in Eastern.
The compass just actually holds the maps, so that's fun.
What's interesting, though, is we talk about the fact that Zora is out of logic, but could be sequence broken. Our left-hand runners of Brewer's Fane and Sailor Jade actually do have the 500 rupees, but don't have the Moon Pearl from Escape. They could sequence break up to Zora. You'd like to have the Moon Pearl for water walking in order to be able to get the 2 chests in the Waterfall of Wishing.
We're going to see our first look here at the hint tile. It's a shield in Ganon's tower. Very helpful hint.
And by very helpful, we mean not helpful at all.
This is becoming very, very interesting. Now, the shovel could have something there, which would put Solsky in a very good position if he actually goes and digs it up before climbing Castle Tower, which I don't see a reason not to, since, you know, it's only a couple panes left from Link's house. Brewer's Fan taking that and doing it very well, hitting the lower damage enemy to take those invincibility frames and be able to open that pot and hit the switch at the same time. Very well done by them.
Alright, so Eastern Palace, nothing much. So, in terms of avoiding Aga at this point, we've pretty much got Aeginus Cave, a sequence break of Zora, and that's pretty much it. Brewer's Fan's gonna head up to the escape sequence and get that Moon Pearl that we've been talking about. And actually, Solsky now is fake flippering.
We also do have that shovel, so let's not forget about that one, since shovel could hold just about anything.
Thank you for reminding me. I keep forgetting about that.
That's what I'm here for. Got your back.
Yeah, Cassie Moan in chat saying you never want a full clear before doing Aga, but gambling on him seems way riskier in the qualifiers. Hobo just giving away a little bit of money. I would say it kind of depends on how many qualifiers you've run up to this point. If you've done if you have some good times from some previous seeds and you've got a seed you might be willing to throw away, you know, this might be one of them to take a gamble. I think it just kind of depends on how you feel you've been doing throughout the qualifiers.
With a bloopy on Highlight Island, we're gonna see Solsky go up and do the fun "this game isn't broken at all" version of getting the chest here in Waterfall.
Yep, he's basically gonna go in, go out, and then because the Moon Pearl does weird things, now you can walk, and you can pick up a heart container and $100.
Leaving him 13 rupees shy of Zora money? which he looks like he's going to try to farm here.
He's gonna start digging for him with that shovel. And you can't actually dig on that island.
I really don't blame him. You would hate to have to come back and Zora actually have something on him.
And there's that 20 bucks he needed. Still farming for cash, though, while he's making his way through.
Let's see if Zora has something useful on him, or we're going to start looking more and more likely like we're going up to see the wizard.
Well, there once was a fish named Zora who does give you flippers in vanilla. In Rando, he sucks. For 500 bucks, we did this stupid trek for 3 stupid blueberries.
I feel like that may not have been worth it at all.
Meanwhile, Solsky is continuing to dig for supplies while he makes his way to the dig spot. Alright, so Shovel and Aegina's Cave are one of the 2 places left that can actually be in logic strike the earth. Just a piece of heart.
Elm is going directly there. I don't think he went to the back of his cave. So he's leaving those 3 chests saying there's no way that there's something useful in them. Let me just go ahead, go straight up Castle Tower. This might be a move that actually really helps him or hurts him depending on how much everybody else does. And it's not going to be a fun climb. 4 hearts, no real long range. You do at least have Berna and Magic Cape to assist in some places, but it's still not an easy climb with the 4 hearts there.
And actually, Brewers Fan and Sailor Jade are saying I surrender and making the Aga climb as well.
They did read the Eastern Palace hint tile chat. It did say that there were, what was it? There was a shield in Genon's Tower.
Yeah, and we also saw Elminster check the other one that said a compass is hidden in Misery Mire. Woohoo! Surprise! Elminster's got to be careful. Those red guards are about to take care of him, but he drinks the potion in time.
Brewers Fan making very good use of the Cane of Berna in situations where it would be very helpful. Obviously, these runners know exactly what they're doing, going in, killing just the bad guy that they need to get those keys, and we'll see how they deal with this bridge coming up here. Elm decided to go just straight for it, and now he's going to go watch the Dark Wizard do away with Zelda.
How many blue balls do you think we're gonna see?
You know, I don't want to make them crazy. I hope we see 3 or 4. Just God, dear please God, not 15.
All right, I'm gonna say 2. And as always, the first one is scripted to be a regular ball, the next 3 are randomized, and then you get a strike of lightning. Sailor Jade, unfortunately, taking a death. Press F to pay respects. Now, I'll again have to give a mea culpa, because now that I actually read it, it says some bombs and a compass are fire locked in Misery Mire, which actually is helpful, because now that means you can completely bypass the left side of Misery Mire once you get there.
Though there is still the chance that Misery Mire is a pendant and not necessary with having 2 crystals in Light World.
Alright, and I only saw probably... I've lost count, but I pretty much only saw 2 blue balls from Aga, but down goes the wizard. And into Dark World we go with 4 hearts and green mail, so have fun! And there's a glove.
Yeah, these runners can absolutely handle it, and seeing the glove in that area lets you know I made the right choice.
There is that possibility the glove may have been in Nagina's cave. There is still that possibility.
It's very true. Or Shovel Spot.
Well, we did see Shovel. It was just a piece of heart.
You killed my Shovel Spot dream.
I make no apologies.
None are necessary.
Alright,
Solsky is a couple extra rupees. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there. Just for a little extra safety, maybe he's going to go visit Zora as well.
A Dark World map check set shows us that Turtle Rock and Ice Palace are the other pendant dungeons.
So the Misery Mire hint is definitely going to come in handy, unless it's our Go Mode dungeon.
And there's the flute, 20 bucks, piece of heart, and tempered sword. So solid meh, cave. Solid meh.
Flute and tempered sword is a meh? I take it as a win. No spin on Ganon, immediate access to Death Mountain, able to flute around the Light World. I don't see what can go wrong. I give it a 9 out of 10.
I say meh because it's 2 out of 5. There's still like real hype would be like if you found like 4 out of 5 items in there. That's why it's that's why I give it a meh. Stumpy also having some flippers.
Not sure they're much use to him there in that grove, but I'm sure it's nice for him to give it to us.
It also means that we're a mirror away from being able to get into Swamp Palace. We still need the hook shot to finish it off.
I'm looking at the items that they have distributed so far. I understand why they're continuing to make overworld checks. I can't help but think, you know, the play immediately for me would be going to Tower of Hera, seeing exactly... Well, I guess, yeah, you need the mirror to do the Tower of Hera check. Maybe the old man has the mirror. Vanilla mirror?
Possibly. Granted, I suck at this game, so when I'm about to say that 5 hearts green mail, I would totally be making a play for Thieves Town. That's what I would probably be doing. Again, I would probably die while trying to do that.
I'm sure these guys have put in hundreds of runs, know the script pretty well, and barring something terrible happening, they should be just fine.
Alright, so we got 3 of our 4 runners having gone through Aga at this point. Solsky's on his way up, and we'll see where everywhere one else goes from there.
"19 digs, 10 arrows." Last thing you want to see at that point.
All right.
Now, Solsky is a little bit behind as far as the restream is concerned. And what I mean by that is, he went to more locations and everything else, but there are going to be places that people check that he has already done, like the back of Escape. He's already gone to Shovel Spot and everything, so it might end up, coming out in the wash as far as all of that is concerned. Elminster here going to go ahead and activate his flute here, so we will be hearing Swag Duck Anthem shortly.
I think...
Or you can just imagine it in your head.
Well, Brewers, we have the audio from Brewers Fan, so when Brewers Fan activates it, that's where we'll handle Swag Duck, which I think he's on his way to. So I'm just going to be filling time until he actually gets over to Light Roll to say that, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, to honor High Roll, we ask that you join us for this time once again for the playing of the National Swag Duck Anthem.
Fills my heart with pride every time I listen to it.
And I completely stepped over the national anthem because of issues, so my apologies. The Hawk's about to rock. We salute you.
All right, looks like Brewers Fan and Elminster are both making the play to go into the Dark World here instead of taking up to Death Mountain, which, without the mirror, I can completely understand. No mirror, no hookshot, no real access beyond 2 items as far as Spectacle Rock and the Old Man are concerned. Elminster is going to go ahead and go into Skull Woods here, see if he can find those 2 items that are hiding out over here. Hopefully they'll be in good locations. And Brewers Fan looks like he's joining him right away. Now they do have a green potion in the pot. You find the fire rod here, you take on Mothula? Or do you wait to get a little bit more beefy?
If you find the fire rod, I would say go for it. Again, I suck at this game.
It's definitely a calculated risk. You just look at exactly how you feel about it, but I'm sure these runners will have absolutely no problem, especially with the Tempered Sword in their hands.
Alright, so since they didn't find their key, they're required to go through the... Well, not required, but you will go through the pinball room to get a small key. Because otherwise there was no way out of Skullwoods the way they were set up.
I'm thinking he's seen all he wants of Skullwoods right now without the fire rod. Doesn't want to go in the back and get that one last chest that he can. So he's going to go ahead and head over and see if there's anything on Bumper Ledge. And we'll see what the giant boulder is holding back for us today. Just a couple more arrows. Arrows in some weird places today.
Yeah. I'm honestly still getting used to the fact that in version 30, they took out all the bomb and arrow capacity upgrades, so I'm still getting used to not seeing them in the item pool.
Yep, and for those of you who do like the item upgrades, you can still go to the Pond of Happiness and purchase them. I believe they are 100 a pop.
Meanwhile, C-shaped house has the mirror.
Ooh.
So that Hera play you were talking about earlier, I would now be starting to think about that, because that's 10 items you can certainly get access to. Hera being a green pendant, don't know if I would do Hera. I'd probably at least dip in and check the first 2 items just to be sure.
Not just the first 2 items, but the first 2 hint tiles. Those could come just as in handy as a progression item could be, depending on, how good or bad they are.
That is true. Elminster, meanwhile, is going to go ahead and head into Thieves Town. And to KO in chat, that they put them back behind the Ice Palace IP portal. I'm assuming you mean the bomb and arrow capacity upgrades. Yeah, as Sarcasm was saying, they're there and you can pay for them with $100. I'm talking about them just being in the randomized item pool where you see them in the different item locations.
Correct. They took them all and put them in the Wand of Happiness, replaced them with actual ammo. So you will just see bombs and arrows strewn in those chests where you would previously had seen upgrades.
We've been seeing a lot of deaths at this point. It's 5 hearts red mail or green mail. It has not been very healthy at all. And we got another bottle of green potion in Thieves Town.
I think we've seen 2 items so far in Thieves Town. I saw a red rupee and I saw the bottle. I'm not sure if we've seen anything else. So of course the big key would be in the front. So it's just one chest that I unfortunately did not catch.
Well, as we're starting to see a convergence on Village of Outcasts and Thieves Town, let's take a moment and say, if you have been enjoying what you've been watching, please be sure to give all of our featured runners follows today. Brewers Fan JP, Elminster RTA, Sailor Jade, and Solsky, they're doing a wonderful job of entertaining us this evening and certainly deserve your follows.
Yep, and if you've been thinking about picking up Link to the Past Randomizer, watching people who've been doing this for hundreds, thousands of runs is definitely one of the best ways to pick up a new strategy, something that you've never seen before, maybe some routing decisions, and you know, most of them interact with chat, and they'll happily tell you exactly why it is they're making the decisions that they're making.
Something you don't normally see. Well, a piece of heart requires the Cane of Samaria. See, there's more of going to those hint tiles, because you normally would not see anyone reset the blocks to check that tile.
Yeah, a little bit of routing definitely has changed here, and also dungeon priority has changed because of version 30. Normally, you know, you want to leave Ice Palace, go directly, you know, go mode Ice Palace is one of the fastest ones you can do besides Swamp, but having 3 hints in there is something that you might want to check out a little earlier than later.
And actually, at this point, you can get into Swamp Palace, you just can't finish it without the hook shot. And no small key in Thieves Town, which means it's locked in the big chest.
Or Blind has it.
I don't think Blind can have it. I think because of the way the key logic is set up, if the key were to be on Blind, it is possible that you could get yourself soft locked if you do the keys wrong. So I'm pretty certain Blind cannot have a small key.
Elminster following the script here really well, going through the fight. Let's see exactly how clean it comes out. Ooh, getting a little rough. Gonna pick up the Cane of Burna. Great choice on his behalf. Able to kill that and not have to come back here and do the salty run back to the boss. Great job.
And there's a map and the first crystal of the game 34 minutes in. At this point, I would certainly be making my way to Hera after finishing off Thieves Town, because now, with everything that's here, it's about... There's really not much more you can do, and the most items you can get are going to be up on Death Mountain.
I'm heading Let's see if he remembers to do the old man. Maybe he's just leaving it for later, but you know, it's just one item out of many, and he could always come back here. Though it does leave the location out of it for safe and quit purposes. We do see the rest of the 3 runners running through Thieves Town, which Elm has already shown us. So let's see exactly what we have here in Spectacle Rock. Now, I've been thinking a lot about this, and I think maybe... Oh! Bow on Spectacle Rock!
We have a D confirmed, as well as a blue mail inside Spectacle Rock.
Before that bow came in, I was saying maybe it's worth it to drop down and grab that hint almost every time, especially if there's a lot of progression, left. What do you think about that?
I honestly forgot what you were saying because I've been trying to check a couple other things. I'm about you're talking about the hint in Hera or the hint? What other hint were you talking about?
The one inside Spectacle Rock where you drop down for it, right in front of the item.
Well, given in this situation where it's 5 hearts green mail and I suck at this game, I'd be going for that blue mail, and sure, I'll go get that hint, but I kind of want the blue mail more.
I completely understand. Ooh, green text means it's a troll hint. Nothing big there, but the big key is immediately available, so we're going to start seeing... Nope, Elminster decides big key, nothing down bottom. Let me just dip out and see what Paradox and Spiral Cave have for me. Meanwhile, Brewers fan is go ahead and stick to the script pretty well. Did miss out on 1 hit, so it's going to be a little bit different. But with Cane of Burna and Magic Cave, I definitely don't doubt their ability to finish this fight off. And also twin fights with Sailor Jade, finishing about the same time, getting the concurrent maps.
And we have some sync on our left side getting them crystals. Wait a minute, is that like the Queen Serenity Sailor Moon? Yeah, that is. Wow.
Now we're just waiting for the Tuxedo Mask sprite. If you feel like you can develop some sprites, there's a little love for you. I'd love to play as Tuxedo Mask.
It never amazes me the amount of work we get from these sprite artists who do all this work for this race. Props to all of those sprite artists.
Yep, and they're not even done. There are still some in development, and it's going to be some really cool stuff. I got to play as one Mr. Anderson before with White Rabbit as the Death Mountain sprite, Dark World sprite, which is really nice.
Meanwhile, we are going to see Elminster head into Paradox Cave. 7 items here to check.
And I'm thinking that what he's thinking is, unless I find the Titan's Myths, the first thing I'm doing once I clear all these chests is go directly to Pod and Eastern.
Yeah, that certainly would be the next play that makes sense.
Absolutely. 1 item left in Eastern, 5 total in Pod. Can't go wrong with that. Also, 2 crystals.
We got an Ether Medallion, and other than a fairy in a bottle, that's about it. And Elminster's got all 4 bottles at this point.
It's another thing I've been noticing with version 30 is being very nice with the bottles. Sailor Jade did go ahead and save the old man, and we can see that he gives the 1 rupee as a reward. You know, he's on a fixed income, so he can't really afford much else.
Yeah, fixed income for certain.
Elminster making that play earlier that I alluded to, going straight to Pod and Eastern. Really, the only choice at this point with being able to finish everything there. It's a great play from him.
Yeah, at this point, Pod Eastern combo. We haven't seen Catfish yet. You could do part of Swamp, and you could do Pendant Hera. And that's about it from what I can see.
Yep, Ice Palace would still be locked by the Titans myths. We probably wouldn't want to go into Swamp yet without the hook shot, though there are, what, 4, maybe 5 chests available if you find the big key, which, I mean, I guess if you find the big key, it's still just 4.
Meanwhile, Solsky using that mirror to go check Graveyard Ledge, which just has a heart container.
Ooh, Brewers fan checked the hint and I completely missed it. Looking at the layout of everything, I think the next big thing that everyone really is hoping for is Titan's Myths. That gives us availability to not only finish Ice off with the Bombos Medallion, but also gives us the availability to not only check the Misery Mire Medallion and make sure that it's not, well, Quake once everybody finishes Paradox, but Elminster, of course, already has Ether. But it also gives you the chance to finish Desert Palace, as long as it's not Boots on.
And while we're talking about different items, looking at it at this point, unless you're the hook shot, and maybe Boots if your Boots locked for Desert, or Quake for Mire, Pedestal's pretty much on life support at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Turtle Rock being a pendant definitely does that with the amount of required items that are necessary. Now, Brewers fan here is deciding that he is going to go up, see if he can find some of those items and maybe check that hint in Hera. This might be something that plays out pretty well, and even if it doesn't, it's only a minute, maybe 2 minutes wasted. So I agree with the play from Brewers fan here.
Arrow of Destiny off of the Armos Knights and Crystal number 2 for Elminster. The one thing you also have to consider is that there is actually a third item, because it's on Trolldorm with the green pendant. And the second item is just triple bombs in the big chest. Spike Cave having a mushroom.
That Fetch Quest song is coming directly right back to my brain. Ooh, Boots in Palace of Darkness as a hint. In Palace of Darkness. Elminster's probably really happy to be there right now. Getting the Boots first is definitely going to put them in a situation where they can start outrunning the competition.
And unfortunately, we got a small key and a green pendant at the top of Hera.
I'm not sure you take the time and finish out the basement.
Well, I think we found both. Didn't we find both items in Hera already?
I was keeping track of Elminster, so I actually, unfortunately, was not able to see it.
Now, the thing is, even with finding those boots, all that really does is unlock Bonk Rocks, because we still don't have either the Titan's Mitts or the book necessary to get into Desert.
It also unlocks the King's Tomb, because you're allowed to go in there as long as you have the mirror. Because you can go with a really weird, snaky route in there. So you can also check Graveyard Ledge while you're there. So it does give us 3 checks right there.
Okay, and there are those rupees that were in the basement of Hera. So yes, we did find both items. There was no need to go through. There was no need to go through the coffee break room.
It's okay, these runners are good enough, they don't need it. And there's the boots.
There they were in the compass room.
It's actually a great place to find them, since you can immediately just start running around for your life down in the basement, where we get a heart container and another key, 2 keys up the top. Usually that means we can skip the harmless hallway, since that usually has a key, and go directly for the 3 chests over on the left-hand side.
Which is exactly what Alminster is doing.
So as far as necessary items are concerned, we're still missing the hookshot, we're still missing the fire rod, we're still missing Cane of Samaria. So those are definitely things that they're going to want to get their hands on before, well, they're going to have to get their hands on before tackling Ganon's tower. Any idea where those items might be, or impossible locations that they may not have thought of?
Well, we've got... As Solsky is taking down Trolldorm, that green pendant can still lead to an item, which we may see on JP's side. You've got Bonk Rocks, the Flanktuary items that you were talking about in Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb. And we still have not seen Aegina's Cave. And that still could be a glove upgrade that could have meant Aga 1 was completely unnecessary. And Sahasrahla giving us a piece of heart, so Hera was a complete waste of time. And then there's also Swamp Palace, which no one wants to hear, but Swamp Palace is certainly a thing right now.
Oh no, see, I like to hear that, because the first person to make the play, if it has hookshot, will definitely be in a much better situation than anyone else who decides that all the overworld checks would be more beneficial to them than dipping Swamp.
Elminster ran out of arrows, had to go back in to get some to hit the Igor statue.
Definitely one of those situations where the arrow upgrades throughout the game does make a difference being taken out here in version 30.
There were certainly a couple of times in the spring tournament where not having enough arrows for the Ganon fight certainly came back to haunt a couple of the runners. And into Helmassar we go.
Yep, taking on the big bad here. He is doing the strat where you keep the sword out and use the hammer. It does lessen the recoil a little bit and keep you able to be focused right on the gem there on the forehead. Looks like he's going to do sword strats since he doesn't have, well, he does have enough arrows, but it would be a perfect shot, and he does take the king down. Long live the king.
For butter.
Not exactly what you wanted to see him drop, but you don't complain either.
Alright, so probably would do Flanktuary next, but after that, we're kind of on a collision course with Swamp Palace.
We're definitely on a collision course with Swamp Palace. At this point, you're thinking about the things that you might have skipped or risked out on. Elm didn't go too that's going to start playing on their mind. Maybe, hopefully remembering all of the locations that they have. Now, there is Cave 45 that is still available for them, since they didn't have the mirror the first time that they checked over there. So that's also a possibility.
That is true. We also missed Powder was the first chest in Pod, which meant the Pod was bow locked. Which also means Magic Bat would be available.
Yeah, and that's definitely a play that you think about making after you're done with, as you affectionately called it, Flanctuary. But the Cane of Samaria, it's Cane! Cane in Bonk Rocks. What a find! Now, if only they can get those hands on those mitts.
Yeah, because realistically, as exciting as finding that Cane is, that doesn't really do us any good until we can get to Mire or Turtle Rock.
It takes it off our mind as one less thing that we need to find before go mode, and that kind of relief, you can't pay price for it.
Although, if you're hoping for the pedestal, the one thing that Cane of Samaria does is that in order to have Cold Stare be beatable without the hook shot, I think Cane of Samaria and the right key placement, I think, is what is required in order to beat Cold Stare without hook shot. So if you're hoping for something like hook shot on the pedestal, seeing that Cane of Samaria actually would be some good news.
You're completely correct on that, though. That would be a terrifying thing to find as a runner.
Which again, we can't even get into Ice Palace right now or Turtle Rock because we don't have the Titan's mitts. And Elminster are gonna swim over to the Catfish area. I know someone found the mushroom. I don't think it was Elminster. But I'm trying to remember where we found that mushroom.
Spike Cave had the mushroom.
Oh, right, yes. And it was Solski that found it. Alright, Catfish, let's see what we got today. Catfished again. Okay, so we have I think there's a bit of a discrepancy in the 5-6 crystals. I think that was my mistake, because I think I miscalled Eastern Palace as a 5-6 crystal earlier. It is Steve's Town and Desert Palace that are the 5-6 crystals. Eastern's just a regular one, but I think that's on me for calling it when we had all those quick map checks.
And also, I do believe Elminster does have the powder. I don't think he went directly to right side first, so that might be something that we want to mark as well. Elminster making a play for the right side. Looks like he's going to go check Hobo and see what exactly is available over there.
Which was only a big 20. The Zora area really did not have anything of consequence.
No, just a little safety in that heart container.
And as Dimensive is saying in chat, I think the key question right now is who's going to Swamp first.
I don't know. I'm very tempted to. I would immediately just go check that and check Cave 45 as well.
There's also an Aeginus Cave. You can also do a Aeginus Cave while you're trying to set that up.
Absolutely. Elm here going to take a dive into the dark and back into the dark world. Do you think they're going swamp directly? Let's see exactly what he does here.
He's going south. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a Swamp Palace play on Elminster's side.
Can't fault him for it. Lots of items available. Immediate hint tile access. Might get some information that really going to blow the seed wide open.
Alright, so we're gonna see the hint tile first. So fast I missed it.
The map needs fire and Tower of Hera. So just a little information we already had.
Yep, that the map is in the coffee break room. So again, we can get into Swamp, but without the hook shot, we can't finish Swamp. Well,
and there's the hook shot.
Well.
Well, throw everything I said about extra checks out the window. We have the crystal available to finish immediately. We are able to check the last 3 chests as well as the item on Argus. This could be the play that decides who's going to finish first.
This also pretty much means we're pending Misery Mire Medallion, and frankly knowing that from the hint tiles that the fire rod lock portion doesn't have anything of consequence, we're almost to go mode.
We're so close, it's not even funny. It just depends on what exact plays JP, Sailor, and Solsky make after leaving Pod Eastern Palace play. Now, we do see Sailor Jade going directly for Graveyard Ledge, going to find their heart container here. And then they did already do Bonk Rock, so they found their cane. Let's see if JP and Solsky are able to make a play in the same order.
Chad, of course, correcting me. We do still need the fire rod for Skullwoods.
JP looking like they're going to make a play over here for Catfish. Jade heading to the east side across the river looks like they're going to also make the same play here. Once again, just need to see how long they take before they take that dip into Swamp.
There's a red meringue in Swamp.
JP and Jade almost run for run about Catfish. I love to see when runners sync up, seeing the execution play out, see exactly how they do things, and really very real possibilities they're going to get up to the tower and to Ganon at the same time, depending on the way that they route this. That could be really exciting for the end of our run.
And Elminster, while they're doing that, incredible sync, Elminster is cutting through puffballs like with a knife of butter. And there's the heart container off of Argus.
Heart container on Argus. We're still missing Fire Rod, still missing Mitts. What's the next place you check? I mean, we still do have K45 and the bat available, but is that going to be the first place that they go to?
Well, Elminster's going back in because we did find the big key. So there's at least there's at least a couple items left. I don't remember if we found the map or the compass, but there's at least one more item for certain still in there.
Solsky here is going to give us our first look at the bat, while Elminster goes back in for that big chest. Let's see if the bat has a little something for us today. Oh! Wow! Mitts in big key chest. God, I hope nobody skips that.
Yeah, 'cause that was in the back portion. So you do have to backtrack to go get to that big chest with the Titan's mitts. And immediately Elminster heading for Mire.
Yep, let's head for Mire, let's head for Desert, let's see if we can go mode that Ice Palace, make it as quick as possible. He did do a medallion check there, I completely missed it. Did you get it?
It was Bombos.
Oh, so good.
So we are only a fire rod away from go mode at this point.
JP doing a lumberjack check, and he's going to be a little bit disappointed to see that there. But Sailor Jade making their way back or over to Tower of Hera. Big Key, Mirror. Are they leaving immediately? Nope. They're going to go up and find their much disappointment.
Minster gonna head into Mire first, it looks like.
Yep, the routing decision comes from being able to finish Mire, walk over, mirror, and then immediately go into Desert without having to flew back over to the spot and turn back to the Dark World. Very heads-up play from Elminster.
Also needs to remember he can do Checkerboard Cave at once he's done with both of these dungeons.
And check Agina.
Agina is still out there, but my thought that Titan's that a glove could have been at Agina's cave was in fact incorrect, and that pretty much means that this was a required Agassi. There was no way you were sequence breaking around it. Oh! 1 hour, 2 minutes, 26 seconds. Elminster RTA is into go mode.
And what a go mode it is. Being able to go mode these dungeons is going to be just extraordinary for him. The only real place that he has to search for is where's the Desert Palace big key, or where's the big key here in Misery Mire. And we know it's not on left side, which is a great thing from the hints. So
wait, I may have miscalled that. That may have been the ice rod. I saw a rod and got excited. I may have miscalled that.
Alright, let's see if they're going to open their map here anytime soon. Or, I'm sorry, their pause menu, so we can see exactly which rod it is. Elm is remembering that hint, going to completely skip left side since they know that there's nothing over there. Very heads-up play.
And actually having the switch down, he's going to go check that chest first. And also that he needed the big key. And going to go ahead and head up to Vitreous.
Heading up to Vitreous here, it might be that it was the Fire Rod. Let's see exactly when he switches over to Canis Maria. Nope, that was the Ice Rod. It was the Ice Rod. Okay.
And I made a fool again. Sorry, chat.
Completely okay. It's absolutely fine. We saw the rod. We got excited. A little premature excitement there, but it's okay. Let's see if Viddy has the other rod that we're looking for. And he does have a palace immediately available to them as well. I mean, yeah, he does have Desert Palace immediately available to them as well, so it's not exactly a huge loss. JP is heading up Death Mountain. Not sure exactly what it is that he's looking for. Was there perhaps something that they missed in Tower of Hera or on the right side?
Won't be able to. Oh, he's going for Spike Cave, which will get him the mushroom, which we still haven't seen turned in yet. Sailor Jade is going to show us what was in Aegina's cave this whole time. And just heart container.
Elm deciding he don't need no magic cape with that butter sword. Gonna go ahead and kill all those little eyeballs and make very, very short work of the giant eyeball.
And gets the crystal. And actually, you know what? This is where the hints come in, because the hint in Naga Tower said that it was bombs and a compass that were fire locked in Misery Mire, so that would have meant that that was one of the two items. So once you found the ice rod, you knew what both items were in Mire.
No, great job on Elm keeping track of exactly what hints he's gotten and what is available. We are going to see what's on Ledge as well. It's just a whole lot of money.
And only 10 arrows from turning in the mushroom.
The more and more item locations checked off, the more it seems like this fire rod is going to be here in Desert Palace. Let's see if this pays off for Elm going straight here instead of making any of the other checks.
Well, okay, big key is on the torch, so it was boots locked. Technically, you can get into Turtle Rock. You have Bombos, so you can get into Ice Palace. So there's still places you could go where the fire rod could be.
Small key logically has to be in the big chest because there's... Well, I guess he didn't check the other chest in the middle, so there could have been an item there. I apologize. Let's see if there's a dungeon item or an actual progression item or troll item in this chest.
All right, and both Sailor Jade and Solski now making the play for Swamp House and getting the hook shot.
Very heads up play for them, knowing that this is definitely a very real possibility with the amount of chests that they had available. Now, I did see one item here in Desert. We are looking for the second item, see if it's not on Lamulus. It's definitely on Lamulus, so we're gonna go over there and see exactly what the worms have for us today.
Also have Checkerboard Cave shortly after that, if necessary. I would imagine from Elminster.
Yeah, Elm will check that and Aegina if necessary. JP also deciding Swamp Palace is the best play for them, and another really good call from these amazing runners, knowing exactly item locations, item density, and possibility for the items to be in places. So far, you know, a seed that could have gone just horribly badly. Really good calls being made by all of the runners. In case you guys haven't followed them, please go ahead and give them a follow. They're definitely worth the watch.
And Elminster gonna use Ice Rod strats on those worms.
Ice Rod strat's not quite as practiced as Fire Rod due to the speed of it, but between that and the Gold Sword, he does cut them down in short order. And there's the Fire Rod!
Now! 1 hour, 9 minutes, 10 seconds, Elminster RTA is now officially in go mode. I can't screw this one up.
So Fire Rod going directly into Skullwood. It's going to go directly into Mothula. And then after Mothula, there's something, right?
I don't know if I'm picking up. Oh yeah, I know what you're picking up. Sorry, I'm getting some shade from the Fear Agent because at the beginning of this race I said who really needs lamps, because you're saying the version 30 likes to troll lamps. And well, yeah, Viracho is right. You kind of needed a lamp to get a fire rod. But to your point about a thing that'll be coming up shortly, we don't have the bot, so if you want to play along, we can do stuff for fun. But since we're on ALTTP Randomizer and don't have the bot, we don't have any official things going on after we kill Mothula.
It's okay. We still need the Moth dead, so you know we can let them know you're playing for fun, you know, and even though you're playing for fun, you still get to see these amazing runners do amazing things. Elm completely breaking the logic, knows exactly where he needs to go for all of these things, and you know you could always just randomize your own seed and get into the community, which has been very welcoming, and follow these guys and have yourself an absolute blast.
Sinak also reminding me, or Sinak, our restreamer, also reminding me that because of the fact that it is a qualifier and that you could be watching other people's streams, it's also why we don't have the bot. Solsky does get those Titans mitts, but it is time to mow down a moth.
Oh,
and like I said, that is crystal number 7 for Elminster. So there are 22 locations where that Ganon's Tower Big Key can be in the basement of Ganon's Tower. If you want to play in our guessing game that's just for fun, please put in a number between 1 and 22, and we may have surprises for you later. Sarcasm Powered, what's your guess?
I'm gonna go with lucky number 13, an old favorite.
I'm gonna say chest number 4.
Hoping for that quick finish, huh?
Yeah, sure, why not? So now that we have a chance to kind of process it, this kind of was a linear seed in some ways, because you had to do Aga 1, that got you the glove, and then from there, that got you up to Death Mountain to get the bow, to go to Pod, to get the boots, Lump for the hook shot, and the Titan's mitts, which leads you to Desert for the fire rod. Yeah, it was kind of, I mean, it was kind of linear in some ways. Yeah, the only item that can really throw people off would have been the Cane of Samara, which is, you know, Bonk Rock's definitely a place that you immediately go to after you get the boots, so not of a throw there, so the seat's pretty kind. Yep, and we have more sync on JP and Jade's side. JP immediately recognizing the fact that Meyer might be available to them, even though they're on a Quake medallion, they're going to be pleasantly surprised by the fact that it's Bombos, but still checking that graveyard, the shed. And Elm entering that tower, so we're going to go ahead and say that that would be it for the numbers. We're going to keep track of what exactly chat said and see who came the closest. And we will see. Chest number 1, 20 bucks. 2, the big key. Wow, you still go left side to get 1 key? I mean, that big key in chest number 2. Cassidy Moen making that correct guess. Congratulations. You win access that you already had to the randomizer generator. Congratulations. Have lots of fun. Hey, you're spoiling my gig, man. I'm sorry. Let's pretend I didn't say anything. Please, by all means. Yes, because Cassidy Moen, you have won a year's supply of randomizer seeds. All you have to do is go to ALTTPR.com and claim your prize. Offer will evolve to version 32 of the randomizer. Offer completely ignores the fact that anybody can go to ALTTPR.com and claim the price. The randomizer is for everyone. However, the randomizer lasts longer than 4 hours. Please consult the spoiler log. Have your doctor check you for eye suckitis, which involves an addiction to powder and potions. Terms and conditions apply. Void where prohibited.
I think I have that.
I have it too. There's no shame in it.
It's my secret shame.
I like what Sinak said in chat, our restreamer. He said, Japan 1.0 ROM not included. But in any case, Elminster is now on his way to the gauntlet.
In case it's not known, we do use the Japan 1.0 ROM. It does allow for some wonderful glitches. It's a version that our randomizer is based on. It does allow our runners to do some of the wonderful tricks that they have done, including Big Flipper and a couple, and Moon Pearl Check, among others.
Alright, now Minster is into Lambo 2. By the way, no worries on what you were saying or stepping on that earlier. It's all for fun.
Absolutely. You see, in situations like the L1 Elminster's in are what separates some of the absolute best runners that we're seeing here on these qualifiers and scrubs like me. 2.5 hearts, I'm crying, hoping, powdering everything in sight. Elm, cool as a cucumber.
As the late Stuart Scott would say, he's cool as the other side of the pillow.
You can see the hours of practice coming out with their decisions, where they're dashing, where they know where the item collections are. It's amazing to watch these runners work.
But even as good as Elminster is, he's taking the opportunity to get 2 fairies to refill his health before Agate 2 and Trolldorm 2.
Now he is checking a couple chests along the way. You think he's checking for those silvers?
Possible. Oh, trolled again.
Ooh, that hurts. But it's okay. I'm sure that they're going to bounce back, no problem.
And actually, that right there is an example of why if you can powder those 2 fairies, you do it. Because that would have almost put Elminster at like half a heart left. Elminster stealing Trolldorm's last possession of a heart piece.
Yep, heart there, meaning that the silvers are not going to be immediately found. That does mean that we are going to have spin slashes on Ganon. One of my favorite things to see a well-practiced runner do.
Yeah, even with Butter Sword, you'll need 12 of them to take care of the big pig.
At least we have butter to add to that bacon. Crispy delicious.
Mm-hmm. Nice double there from Elminster. And as dimension, very nicely done, and it is time for that big pig.
Sailor J did decide to go and do Desert Palace first, so they are also in go mode. Just going to be looking for that big key here.
I think so did JP. I think JP did Desert first, so JP is in go mode also.
Solsky not very far behind, entering Desert now. and they've already done Meyer, so they'll be in go mode here shortly once they go towards the worms.
All right, and with that butter sword, phase 1 and phase 2 are just like that.
I blinked. I must have missed it.
Yeah, blink and you're already into phase 3 on Elminster's side.
A very generous phase 3. Not as many teleports here from the pig as there normally are.
And the silver arrows were in Ganon's tower. Ooh, missed the torch glitch.
Now, it's not that big of a deal. I do believe that they'd have a green potion left, so even if they use fire rod strats, I do believe that they're going to be just fine.
I think we found 2. Elminster making good progress. A few more to go.
Absolutely great progress. Without the silver arrows, this is a little bit more of a shaky fight. That fire bat always coming out, going to hit you the opposite way of the way that you are currently moving. So,
ooh, almost fell off the ledge, but Elminster was able to hold on.
Absolutely great recovery.
And that should do it.
Kentucky Fried Bacon here for Elm. Gonna have an absolutely amazing time here. And we will give you the official time once he walks through that door. You want to do the honors for her?
Yes, because as a matter of fact, of the 100+ runners that are in this qualifier, Elminster RTA finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 21 seconds in first place. Spam those GGs in chat.
Absolutely destroyed this seed. Amazing job by Elminster. Gonna be real happy to take home those extra percentages of points, and really throwing the curve off. Thanks, Elm.
All right, we will see if we can get Elminster in for an interview. Meanwhile, we've had, I'm not going to bother with times because, boy, do we have a bunch of names, but Zero Rush 2nd place, Faraime 3rd, Salty Fry 4th, Blaine 5th, RD Walsh the 5th, 6th, Zelga Dasan 7th, Big Dunka 8th, Julio Ninja 9th, Megawatt 10th, Bentizi 11th, Ultima 12th, PDR Wong 13, Scrub Casual 14, Shireen 18, 15th. Hold on, they need a break.
Yeah, now I want you to know, like, there are very, very small amounts of time separating some of these people. Elm finished with a 122.21. The next finish, Zero Rush, 127.04. Faraime right, literally behind him at 127.05.
All right, so back to listing off our the people who have finished. Vivio Renita 16th, Gland 17th, Kyung 92 18th. Actually, Kyung 92 and Chex Human tied 18th place at 130.50. We got Fantalis 20th, Osi 101 21st, Macan 22nd, DT 23rd, Someone 24th, DKS 89, and Karakan also tied at 132.12 and 25th place. Guitar Girl TS9 27th, Nimban 28th, J Misher 29th, BB Kermit 30th, DBOSX 31st, Layra GG 32nd, Matt 7898 33rd, Kyo 24 34th, Wallkicks 35th. I'm taking another break.
And that's okay. We do see Brewers fan here chopping down the Moth with all the precision. Clutch, as always, with 2 hearts. They're going to be making their way up to the tower. Solski already here with Moth, or just about to get in the Moth room. Jade, looking like they're about to get here into Vitreous and going to use some cape strats to make quick work of them.
Actually, I'm not going to bother rattling off the rest of these because I'm looking. We've got 95 of our runners have finished at this point. So otherwise, I would say at this point, you're just going to hear me rattling off a whole bunch of names.
And GG's to each and every one of them doing an absolutely spectacular job with this seed. I'm absolutely amazed with the 1 second difference.
That right there is how good these runners we have in these tournaments. It's how close some of those times turn out to be.
Wow, Solski keeping spin speed all the way through over to the bridge. That's insanely hard to do and need a little RNG from the Dead Rocks, and they did it just perfectly. What a great show of skill.
Alright, so we've got JP on his way to GT, Stolsky right behind him, and Jade gonna be making their way up to the Moth.
Now we'll see if JP goes left side or right side first. I know most runners have they usually go right side first, and then after the first 2 chests go left side. JP is showing that he is going to go right side first, so going to find that big key there in the left-hand chest, and going to go back over left and steal 1 key away over there. Meanwhile, Solski is just entering the tower, and Jade is making their way over, fighting these Geetos. I think we're working on getting Elm in here for an interview. We'll let you know if that's something that they decide to do or not. Just bear with us while we get that set up.
Meanwhile, JP is into the gauntlet at this point. Solski also having the big key. Gonna get that small key here, and then we'll be making his way up also. And joining us in chat is our first place finisher, Elminster RTA. GG.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, very big GGs to you. Absolutely amazing going straight to Swamp Palace. What is it that made you skip a couple of the chests and decide to go directly there? Was it just item density?
I really didn't go directly there, honestly. I did most of the world before it. The main thing that I skipped was completing Hera, because I knew there was only 1 item left in it, and I was stalling for the potential for a hint to tell me what was in Hera Basement, which ended up being a map. So
yeah, the map was in there. Also, it was triple bombs in the big chest of Hera, and I think a piece of heart from Sahasrara because Trolldorm had the green pendant. So you were very wise to skip Hera.
Oh, apparently I forgot to do Old Man. I meant to go back for that.
It was nothing of consequence, as you found out.
It was 1 ruby.
I completely forgot about it.
It ended up being okay. How did you feel about the seed in general?
It was a nice fast seed. What I didn't like was hammer and moon pearl, but no gloves at the start. That's like, because there are 2 gloves, right? There are 2 gloves that you can pick up, so it's kind of like, the chances are a bit higher that you can randomly stumble upon one of them, and the chances are higher that you can sequence break one. So I was like debating whether to do that or not, like fake flipper, and I decided not to, and then I was kind of regretting my decision, but it turned out that it wouldn't have gotten me anything.
Yeah, it pretty much wasn't anything of consequence. And I mean, part of that also was the fact that out of Kakariko, you already had a sword, a cape, and the lamp. Yeah, that was, I started to feel bad after going into Eastern, because I had so much, like, I found Master Sword, too. I was just like, oh, I shouldn't have gone into Eastern, but 3 items on Sahasrara, and the items in Eastern, it's kind of too tempting to look for a glove there. Like, if I had glove and no hammer, I probably wouldn't have done it, but...
No, it feels like you made the absolutely right calls at the right time for this seed. 122, that's an absolutely amazing time. I haven't been able to keep up with exactly how the qualifiers have been going, but how many have you finished so far, and how do you feel about the performance so far?
This is my final one, so I should be locked in right now. This will have been my best, so this is getting dropped. And thankfully my worst is going to get dropped, which was a 60-second place where I did basically everything except for Graveyard Ledge, which had hookshot, and I ended up thinking a double dip swamp was required for bombos and left side to do everything else, so that was definitely my worst. That's getting dropped, so that should shoot me up from 77th to like 34th or so overall, something like that.
You know, just hearing you say that just puts to shame how much I suck at this game. Just hearing like, oh yeah, I went from 77th to 34th, I'm just like, I could never even be anywhere close to that.
You know, the qualifiers have been rough. Like, I made like one little kind of unlucky decision or routing error that cost me a lot of time in each of the ones that I've done so far, and this one not so much, but I was hurting a bit from the time loss of going into Eastern. But I guess like most people would have done that because it's just Aga's too big of a time sink under those conditions.
Meanwhile, we've got sync on JP and Solski's side. JP has the big pig down, and Solski just a few seconds behind him.
So as far as I'm, did people, like, I managed to skip Ice and Turtle Rock entirely, right? But, like, I think that was because I got Samaria from Bonk Rocks, so I wasn't looking for anything by the time, like, Mitz going to Mitz and then Meyer and Desert led straight to go mode after that, so the only thing I can think of for other people is that they would have been chasing Samaria and Ice or whatever.
I mean, honestly, we never saw anybody go into, at least of our four featured runners, we never saw anyone go into Ice Palace. It pretty much everyone made the same play of, as soon as you got Hookshot and Titan's Mitts in Swamp Palace, most people made a beeline for Desert and Meyer, and it pretty much that put everyone into go mode.
Yeah, the difference between you and everyone else was you decided to make the swamp play a little bit earlier than them. They did a couple more checks, and also cleared up a couple of things that they had missed, like Spike Cave, which had Mushroom, and a couple other locations. And that's where the big time difference came in.
Okay. I also bailed on left side swamp. I don't know how many people did that, but
I think I saw 1 or 2 runners of our group do left side, but at that point, most of them, I think at least one of them realized once it was Titan's Mitts, that was all. I mean, that was all the items that were in there. JP's a little bit ahead of Solsky in terms of the silver list count, but both of them are in phase 4 at this point.
Oh yeah, I missed Torch Push. That was embarrassing. I was surprised I still won with that.
Yeah, with the calls you made, it was okay. Even if you had used Spire Rod, you still had a couple of magic potions as well. JP here just cut down the big pig, getting that butter bacon ready. Now the fun loan music is playing. We'll give you exactly what time it is here on SRL once he walks through that portal.
And that official SRL time is 1 hour, 35 minutes, and 19 seconds. I believe that was 44th place for JP. GG's to him. And now Solsky has Ganon down. We'll get to that time once he gets through the door. And that was 46th place with an official SRL time of 1:35.41. GG Saul.
Yeah, this seed absolutely blasted through by a lot of the runners. Seems like it was very kind, a little more linear than we expected. The only real big throw-offs were Aga required, and then, as you mentioned before, Kina Samaria and Bonk Rocks. Have you found with version 30 that there are it's a lot more likely to find an item in the graveyard area checks?
I've heard a lot of people say that, and I just don't. I don't agree. I don't know. I feel like people are having some kind of placebo effects. I don't know. I haven't noticed anything.
All right, I see we have JP. We're gonna get him in here and join us here in a sec. And JP is joining us in chat. GG.
Thank you.
GG JP. What did you think of the seed overall?
Overall, like, it was a nice seed. Like, it was pretty linear. I mean, it definitely was nice not to necessarily having to dive Pendant Dungeons, even though I did dive Hera. Yeah, I mean, my biggest regret in that seed was leaving Swamp for so long. Beyond that, though, I guess it was a good seed.
Yeah, that seemed to be the big difference between those that finished a little bit earlier and those that finished a little bit later, but still can't be too upset with a 135 or 134.
It was 135.
135.
Yep. I mean, yeah. I mean, in terms of the qualifiers, that's going to be good for my score. It's gonna. I mean, this is my second race, so that'll be my better of the two races. I am a little concerned just because of how many people were finishing so high that I think this is going to really skew what we've seen so far in the standings.
Yeah, that's one of the things we were talking to Elminster about. That this was his last race, and this first place time for him is actually going to be dropped in his 3 average times.
Yeah, I mean, at least it was not a good result. I mean, I should still be up towards the... Should still be in the top 96 of the standings, but yeah, this is going to skew that break line a little bit.
Yep, and we have also been joined by Solsky. GG's to you as well.
GG's.
Thanks.
So... one thing as we brought Solsky in, JP, you were talking about basically the gamble of when do you go to desert. I mean, that was kind of how the race kind of bore out, is when do you go to Aga 1 and when do you go to Swamp?
Well, yeah. Aga 1, as soon as I saw that Moon Pearl and Escape, I went straight forward, even though I think I had a couple overworld locations I could have still checked, but I figured at that point it's probably an Agassiz, just went for it. The Swamp play, yeah, I just wish I had done that rather than full clearing the world, but you never know. If you don't want to double dip Swamp if you don't have to, so that's always a tough call.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Solsky, your thoughts on the seed?
It was fine. Just kind of really played the safe routing. That's why all these finishes are so close together. Got the early Pearl, knew the right play at the time was Aghanim, but you're playing a qualifier. You're not really playing to win. You're playing to place. So, kind of threw conventional wisdom out the window and played safe. Kind of bit me a little bit, but honestly, the finish is so close at first. Anyways, it didn't really bother me too much. So,
How are you doing in the qualifiers?
I was like top 15, I think. My first race was like 4th, so I knew I was up there anyways. So it, again, just doesn't really bother me at this point. I knew there'd be quite a few people in this race too, like being a little more heavy towards making the play to swamp early, just because again, if they've had like 3, 4 in, or if they're 5th race, then they really need to make a play to try and qualify right. So again, didn't really bother me.
Now, you did mention that you did play this a little bit, as you mentioned, safer due to it being a qualifier race. What is the mindset for you guys and other top runners as far as, what plays you make, what risks you take in a qualifier race versus, let's say, a one-on-one race?
I mean, for a qualifier, like, there's 96 spots open, and I feel like skill alone should be able to get me there, and I don't need to make a single risk. So, I feel like risks, if anything, will hamper me more than kind of help me in that scenario, so I would just kind of just go through the motions and wait for the groups.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, my playstyle tends to be safer anyway, so this kind of works well for me. I mean, the fact that he was somewhat linear helped, but for me, I don't feel like I'm at the same skill level as Solsky, so I feel like I have to take maybe a risk or two here and there. Like Swamp Palace, even though I think there was still one item on the left, but I skipped that one. Figure I needed to make up a little time by last locationing that. But yeah, for the most part, I do play safe. I feel like I might be able to squeak into the top 96 with safe playing, and that's what I'm hoping at this point. And through 2 races, I think that's holding true so far.
Yep, and we've got Sailor Jade into phase 4 at this point, so should be getting all of our featured runners done here shortly. Any thoughts if you guys do make it into the group stage and all the different modes that you guys are potentially going to be able to happen to face with like Key Sanity, Retro, Inverted Mode? Any thoughts on the madness that will ensue after that?
Or any favorites that you might be leaning towards if you want to give that away?
Go ahead.
Well, there's so many different modes that it's really hard to prep for everything. I think for me personally, what I've been focusing on more than anything else is my execution, because I feel like that's going to help me in regardless of whatever mode I get. And then a little later on, maybe I'll start focusing more on the actual modes. I mean, I've played pretty much all these modes at this point, so yeah, I feel like execution's going to carry me more than anything else right now.
Okay, just 1 second. Sailor Jade just finished the Big Pig, is walking through the door. They're going to end up in 87th place with a time of 1:42.59. GG's to them. We'll see if we can get them in here for an interview.
Yeah, and
go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to add real quick, JP. I mean, to your point, that's, I've been kind of practicing some of these modes more just for commentary purposes when we get there, and that's kind of one of the things that, I mean, yeah, there's these different modes that do different things, but at the end of the day, it's still the same Zelda 3 randomizer, and you're still going through the same bosses, going through the same dungeons. At the end of the day, execution probably is going to win the day in terms of getting through all of them. But sorry, Solsky, I stepped on your toes there.
That's okay. I was just gonna answer your question from earlier. Yeah, it's for the modes in general, I'm pretty well rounded in pretty much all of them, so none really kind of scare or lean towards. So I'm really impartial to everything. But people who roll me are not gonna like me when I start rolling out the hard mode inverted seeds for the picks. So.
Hard mode inverted does sound extremely scary. Do you think that's going to be some of the picks that you make?
I mean, I guess depending on the runner. Like if it's a really well-rounded runner, I feel like there's no point. But yeah, I don't really want to go into strategy too much.
I completely understand.
Yeah, that's fair. Just interested to see what you know, what you're willing to discuss. And we do have our last runner in here, Sailor Jade. GG, see you.
GG.
GG Jade. What did you think of the seed?
Better than my first race.
Getting better is what matters. Congratulations on finishing the qualifier. Is this your first one, or how many have you finished so far?
This is my second. I've been really rusty, though, because I haven't been practicing much.
That's okay. It still did an absolutely phenomenal job. 142 coming in here. We were just discussing a little bit of, you know, if we make it past the group stages, what are some of the seeds that you're looking forward to running, or maybe have a strategy ready for the groups as to what exactly you're going to throw out. Do you have any any type of seeds that you feel most comfortable with, that you feel like you would lean on?
Just open mainly, but I think I might do inverted recently. I just haven't really looked too much for that. Don't quite expect to be group stages, so I haven't focused too much on that yet.
Yeah, I can understand that.
No, everybody did an absolutely amazing job. I know we lost Elm. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. But GG's to all of you. I know that, Solsky, you said you were finished with all 5 qualifiers?
No, I still got 3 to go, so
Okay.
I'm pretty spread out with the qualifier races, so I'm not going to be done for quite a while. So I still got ways to go.
Yeah, I think it was Elminster was the only one that had finished all 5.
Gotcha, and I apologize for that. And so, when are we going to look forward to you guys' next qualifier races? Have you guys already signed up, or are you just waiting to see what real life shakes out for you?
No, I've had mine pre-set up for forever now, I guess. Probably close to when they got announced. Really no secret, because I tell people on my stream all the time when I'm racing, so I'm not really on that train of, hey, I got to keep my races secret, because you know, it's getting down to the nitty-gritty of it, so people have a lot of leeway to change around their schedules anyways for a tournament, so I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, I think my next is Friday.
Yeah, I've got my next one scheduled too. It might change, but I've got 3 more to go.
Cool. Well, one last question for Jade, since we were talking about to actually talk about the seed itself. You know, it basically kind of came down to, you know, when do you go into Aga Tower and when do you dip Swamp to get the hook shot? So how are you feeling about the seed in general and kind of the Schrodinger's, or the Schrodinger's cat you basically had to play? Like, do you do Aga or do you not do Aga?
As soon as I had Lamp and Sword, I was cursing because it's like, this is going to be an Aga seed. Which that part didn't bother me too much, but the Swamp Palace hates me this tournament.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Because my first race, I left Swamp left side undone, and I needed to go back and do that at the very end.
All right. Well, any final thoughts from any of our runners before we wrap up shop here?
Not really. I mean, at least through 2 races, I'm kind of happy with where I am. I should still be in top 96, and I just need to probably keep this up, and I'll be in good shape.
Awesome.
Yeah, you guys keep up the great job. Keep up the practice. Keep up doing the amazing things that you do. We'll keep watching just to watch you guys amaze us over and over again.
Yeah, thanks for the commentary, guys, in the restream. Appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Let's give a shout out to both of our trackers, Tau Decay and D Rossi 1. They did a great job with these quad races. Us commentators are always missing something, and especially quad races, we need trackers more than ever. So shout outs to both of them for the great job that they did, as well as our restreamer Synac. We would not be watching this tonight without Synac, and so thanks to all you guys behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely great job by the trackers. Being able to keep up with all 4 runners, even if you're only tracking 2 at a time, is still an amazing accomplishment. Please give these guys a follow if you can. I know that they're in chat already, and also give a shout out to my co-commentator Jex Ruffy,
as well as you, Sarcasm Powered. It was a pleasure having you in the booth tonight.
It was absolutely fun. This race was so much fun to commentate, and I love seeing a linear jet seed with an extremely fast time. And hey, we had the #1 runner.
Yeah, that we did. So, and also shout outs to all of the volunteers behind the scenes making this tournament run smoothly. Again, like so much work behind the scenes, you know, making what you see here on Twitch on the Speed Gaming and ALTTP Randomizer channels possible. Shout outs to all of them. But for that's going to do it for us. Thanks again to JP, Elminster RTA, Sailor, Jaden Solsky for being our featured runners tonight. It was a blast to have you along. And for everyone else involved, I've been Jex Reffi, and we will see you next mission.
Have a good one.